Last year I reviewed the Huawei Mate 9, one of my favorite smartphones of 2017. It checked all the boxes that you'd want. Great display, great performance, great battery life, but most importantly, a really competitive price at $599. Well, Huawei's been hard at work on its follow-up, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. I've been using it for the past couple of days, and here's my take on it. Hey everybody, it's Andrew from AMDtech, and this is my review of the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. I've got a lot of exciting things on the way to the studio, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter for the latest updates. The Mate 10 Pro sports a 6-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 2160 by 1080. That's an 18:9 aspect ratio, and it has support for HDR or high dynamic range content, the HDR10 standard. It's powered by the Hisilicon Kirin 970 CPU. It either comes in 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 or 128 gigabytes of onboard storage. And it has a higher price tag. The high-end model, the one I have with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of onboard storage, comes in at $799. That certainly is flagship pricing. And that's $200 more than the Huawei Mate 9 from last year. Now, packaging is very premium, as we'd come to expect with a flagship device. This is no exception. Opening the box, you're greeted by the unit itself, and the first thing you'll notice right out of the box is how high-end, how premium that all-metal design really is. Now, it is a major fingerprint magnet, so you will need the included case that they do throw in the box. It's a clear case, not the highest quality, but it's nice that they do include it nonetheless. You get your SIM ejection tool, some earbuds that are USB-C, and a 3.5mm to USB-C adapter, which you'll need. There is no 3.5mm headphone jack. And you get your USB-C cable and the power charger, which supports supercharge. We'll talk about battery life and charging times later in this review. Huawei went with the 18:9 aspect ratio, making it a bit thinner to hold in the hand, as opposed to the wider Mate 9 from last year. Now let's start off with what I think are the strong suits of this device. Let's start off with its display. As I stated earlier, it has a 6-inch AMOLED display with a resolution of 2160 by 1080. It also has that 18:9 aspect ratio that seems to be the craze right now. It covers the color gamut really well at 147% sRGB, and the colors are accurate at a 0.62 Delta E score. And it gets bright at 449 nits, making it good for both indoor and outdoor use. Now, as you'd expect with an AMOLED panel, you get the very deep blacks and the very inky, vibrant, punchy colors that really pop off the display. This is really one very good AMOLED display. No complaints in that department. And I love its design. It's all metal, it's premium, it's very high-end, and it feels great in the hands. It comes in a multitude of colors. I chose the metallic blue. It's really sleek and sharp looking, and there's also a special edition Porsche design just like they had last year. But unfortunately, because of that metal back, you don't get any wireless charging, which is a bit of a negative in my book. It charges via USB Type-C, which I'm always happy to have on a device going forward here in 2018. And it has something you don't normally see anymore, an infrared sensor, which allows you to control your TV or your home theater system, say in your living room or in your bedroom. A really nice touch. Now, I would go with the 128 gigabyte model, as there is no microSD card slot for storage expansion. The fingerprint sensor is located on the back of the device, and it's placed perfectly, allowing you to log in very rapidly and very accurately. And setup was easy, registering my finger pretty much every time I used it. Overall, I'd say they did a great job on that fingerprint sensor. And the fingerprint sensor is central to one of my favorite features of the Mate 10 Pro, private space. Originally appearing on the Mate 9, private space allows you to create an alternate profile that is accessible only through a specific fingerprint or unlock code, but is otherwise completely hidden from the device. But I think the star of this show is its excellent Leica branded cameras on the back. It's a dual camera setup, and it produced some really excellent images. The dual camera setup on the back is a 12 megapixel main shooter along with a 20 megapixel monochrome shooter. They're both dual f1.6, which is really excellent for those shallow depth of field photos. There's a multitude of features with this camera and the camera app on the Mate 10 Pro that I just don't have enough time to go in detail with each feature. So I'm thinking of doing a separate video discussing in depth the cameras on the Mate 10 Pro. Let me know in the comment section below if that's something you'd want. But in the meantime, check out some of the photographs I was able to take with the Mate 10 Pro. I thought it did well in low light situations, and I thought it did well in well lit situations. Have a look. Also impressive is the fact that the Mate 10 Pro is Huawei's first smartphone to launch with a dedicated chip for handling artificial intelligence. It's called the Neural Network Processing Unit, or the NPU. The phone's cameras leverage the unique resource through object recognition by tuning exposure parameters when they identify certain things. There are 13 identifiable scenarios in total, including faces, flowers, plants, food, dogs, and cats, and Huawei says it will add more necessary in the future with updates. And thanks to that 20 megapixel monochrome shooter on the back, it produced some excellent black and white photos, some of the best I've ever taken with a smartphone. You be the judge. And you can shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second. I thought it shot very well. I thought it was very stable. It didn't look too jittery. It's employing some sort of image stabilization. And I thought the overall quality was pretty decent, even in low light situations. That's pretty good to have 4K on this device. I was equally impressed with the front-facing camera. It's an 8 megapixel shooter, it's f2.0. Let's see it in action. So let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of this front-facing camera on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro? I like it. I like its dual camera setup on the rear. I like its front-facing camera on the front. I think it really is a very good quality camera, and I'm not surprised because they've really done an excellent job with the cameras on this phone. Let me know in that comment section below what you think. The Mate 10 Pro runs Android 8.0 Oreo, and it's paired with Huawei's EMUI interface. And if you've never used EMUI, well, you gotta know one thing. It takes a little bit getting used to. I would say the most defining characteristic of EMUI is the glut of options that Huawei provides for literally everything, from home screens to themes to battery saving modes and even navigation. And I feel that there's a big learning curve with the EMUI. That's something to keep in mind. And dare I say, there might be just a little bit too much going on if there is such a thing, but you do have a plethora of options. The Mate 10 Pro's exceptional battery life is one big reason why you'd opt for this machine over other top flagships. Its 4,000 mAh battery delivered 14 hours and 33 minutes of web surfing on T-Mobile's LTE network. It beat the Note 8, the Google Pixel 2 XL, the iPhone 10, and the iPhone 8 Plus. That's pretty impressive. Huawei's also packed in a reverse charging mode, allowing you to top off other devices using the Mate 10 Pro's battery. Now, with the included supercharge adapter, the Mate 10 Pro can reach a 60% charge from empty in about 30 minutes. The Mate 10 Pro has a speaker on the bottom of the device and one by the earpiece. Now, they're not evenly distributed. The one on the bottom is louder than the one on the earpiece, but it does give you some stereo separation. Overall, I thought the sound was good. Mids were pretty good. There was a hint of bass. I really like the speakers on this Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Unlike the majority of Android flagships powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon chipsets, the Mate 10 Pro employs Huawei's own Kirin 970 silicone. And judging by the scores as you see here, it did really well. Gaming will be no problem on this flagship smartphone, so you can play all your high-end games at the highest settings without any worries. And even under heavy load, as you can see here, it doesn't go above 38 or 39 degrees Celsius. That's pretty good. It stays relatively cool. That's really good to know, especially when you're pushing the device really hard. So to bring it all home, can I recommend the Huawei Mate 10 Pro? Is it worth the $799 price tag, $200 more than last year's Huawei Mate 9? And the answer is an absolute yes. I love this smartphone. It's one of my favorites so far in 2018. Although we're early in 2018, this really checks all the boxes you'd want. Great display, great battery life, great performance, great build, and great looks all come together to make this a winner. And this has my favorite dual camera setup on a smartphone right now in 2018. I don't care what anybody says, this to me is the best. Of course, it's not perfect, with lack of wireless charging being the main culprit on this device, and the fact that the EMUI has a steep learning curve in my opinion. There's a lot going on. But with those few negatives aside, I have no hesitation recommending the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Now in the United States, you will have to buy it unlocked, as there is no partnership deals, as those fell through. That's for another day. I'll tell you about it some other time. It's been a real delight using the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, earning the AMDtech Editor's Choice for the flagship smartphone category, earning a 91%, making this worth your money. So what do you think about the Huawei Mate 10 Pro? I really do like it. I think it checks all the boxes that you'd want in a flagship smartphone here in early 2018. You got the dual camera setup, I think one of the best in class in terms of the implementation and the output. I also love its 6-inch display with a resolution of 2160 by 1080. We're looking at an 18:9 aspect ratio. So you can hold it in one hand a lot easier than you can or you could with Mate 9 from last year. I also like its epic battery life. With its 4000 milliamp hour battery, I got some excellent run times with this device. I didn't have to go looking for my charger. And speaking of the charger, it charges really quick. It did about an hour and a half to get a full charge. You're going to get about 60% in about 30 minutes. That's pretty good. But I'm curious to know what you think about the Mate 10 Pro. Does it live up to the flagship criteria? Does it live up to the hype in a sense, because it's trying to compete with the likes of the iPhone 10, the Pixel 2 XL, the Galaxy Note 8, and you get the picture. But I'm curious to know what you think about it. Do you think its price is warranted at $799? You can get it at Best Buy starting later this month. Or you can pick one up like I did, the international model. I'll put the link below to get the same kind of features, but you'll have to use it obviously on the GSM network as it becomes unlocked. That means you're going to use it here in the United States on AT&T, T-Mobile, or like I did with my Project Fi SIM, which utilizes the T-Mobile network. Again, I'm curious to know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section below. What do you think about the Huawei Mate 10 Pro? I am curious to know. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and of course our website, AMDtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMDtech. See ya.